Mr. Justice, you will cease and desist from burning down this courtroom. That is until Ace Attorney 5.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Apollo Justice. Ooh, has the suspense been killing you? It's been killing me. Let's get into it. What? What?
Well, Lamina?
According to Machi, he has proof of his innocence.
What?
This is a surprise. Yahoo! Victory, Apollo! We did it! This is sounding too good to believe, and I know what that usually means.
Well, if that's true, then this is vital testimony. Machi, please testify to the court.
Very well. How y'all doing today? It's a hot one on my end. Like, goodness gracious. Mixed Monkey is not ready for this kind of climate, despite the fact that I really should be. I mean, I'm Sri Lankan, so, like, I really should be ready for this kind of heat. But, you know, I was born in the UK. I've been doing UK stuff my whole life. And so, I don't like it when it's hot. I'm like, nah, cool down, mate. So I hope you guys are all, if you are in a bit of a heat wave, you know, getting your water in and, you know, just taking a nice break today. Because don't need to be doing anything active, you know. Just take the day. Take the day. He says that word of Mr. Latus's death came as a great shock. But if the killing truly followed the lyrics to my song, I, that is he, could not have done it. He says that because the lyrics are in English, he does not understand them.
I see. He wouldn't have understood the English lyrics to the song. That would prevent him from following them so closely.
I wondered what he meant by proof. Why, I would only have to ask Lamora to know the meaning of that song. Lamora! Did you ever explain the lyrics of that song to him? I did tell him, generally, what the song was about, but never in so much detail, and he never asked. Has my oft-repeated warning already fled that forehead? Lamora might be protecting the witness.
Well, anyway, let us proceed with the cross-examination. Mr. Justice, if you would.
Yes, Your Honor. Something's hidden in that testimony, I know it. I'll just have to trust my bracelet to tell me where. It worked yesterday. It'll work today. Yeah, well... I wish I had a bracelet that could tell me when people are lying. Oh, goodness. Alright. Ooh. Let's just turn off text skip here. Wait, it already is on. Huh. Interesting. I have done this bit before, so that's probably why. Like, I had a little bit of a faulty start with the recording, so that's probably it. Were Machi and Mr. Latus close? Yes, after we traveled around the world on tour together. Lamova, this is Machi's cross-examination, not yours. But I knew the answer. This is a court of law. We'll play by the book. I understand. And Prosecutor Gavin's tough. He's really tough. Machi says he was very good friends with Mr. Latus. Mr. Latus was always a gentleman, never angry. We got along quite well. I never dreamed something like this would happen. The guitar serenade, correct? Yes, the crime followed the lyrics of the song. The theft of the keyring, the boning guitar, and the bullet. This is why it could not have been me. I could not have done it, you mean? It is very simple. Machi could not have done all the things that happened that day, for all those things followed the song lyrics closely. Wouldn't it be difficult for him to perform without knowing the meaning of the lyrics? He
did know what the song was about. Its mood, shall we say. This was enough to play by. I told him it was a song about a guitar and love.
It's not actually the guitars that's in love, strictly speaking.
Oh, perhaps I misunderstood.
No, not really. Yours is also a valid interpretation. Okay.
No, it is my fault. I am too used to singing in Borginian. It is much easier than trying to understand these English lyrics.
Yay! I knew he was innocent! I believe he is too, Trucy, I do. What's wrong, Apollo? You got a tummy ache or something? Something's hidden in that testimony. If it's the truth, I'll find it! Okay. Could not have done it, says because English lyrics. Alright, I'm guessing it's this one, so let's have a little look. Ooh, hello, Lemon. Oh no, that's Machi. I'm guessing it's gonna be the eyes then, huh? We are just looking directly at. Yeah, it's the eyes. There we go. Look at those eyes.
Gotcha!
You would just point me directly at them. Like, Jesus, come on. Machi, you can't fool my eyes. You glanced towards her the very moment Lamora said the word English. Why? And don't bother interpreting that. He understands me. Machi, tell the truth. You can understand English, can't you?
What are you saying? Of course he can't.
Must you continue the charade?
Mr. Justice, Machi says this. I know the word English.
Huh?
Before coming to this country, he heard me speaking English. He learned the name for this language. That is all.
What? Give me a break.
Is that such an unusual word to understand? Do you not know Espanol, for instance?
Well, yeah, but...
I am sorry, but he truly does not understand your language.
Well then explain this! How does he know the crime? Follow the lyrics!
Have you always been such a suspicious-minded lad? It is simple. So simple it hardly requires an explanation. He read about it in the newspaper.
The newspaper?
The Borginian Daily Bugle. You can buy it in this country these days, you know. They have already begun to report about this case in our homeland.
I was right.
What is wrong, Mr. Justice? Your eyes, they are quite fierce all of a sudden.
1 second, y'all. I'm just gonna take a quick water break. Oh, okay. Machi is lying! Maybe it's time to show them proof that he's lying.
What proof do we have? Let's have a look at this article. Ooh, it doesn't say anything.
Ooh, but this one does. It does mention the lyrics of Lamora's ballad. What a very specific detail to mention. I wonder if it has anything to do with this. Oh, yes, it does. I have here a Borginian newspaper. The Borginian Daily Bugle, as a matter of fact. Indeed, there is a feature article about the case. Could you read this for me, Machi? That's right. It doesn't mention the lyrics!
What? What is this all about?
I'm sorry, Machi. You couldn't have read about the lyrics in a Borginian newspaper! Jonah, this is like the third time they have done this. They just freeze right after some big revelation. I don't understand what they are doing. You know, Your Honor, you got anything you got to offer about this?
Well, that boy in the corner there, the defense attorney boy whose name I cannot seem to remember, seems to be clutching his bracelet and somewhat twitching as if there is something up his posterior.
You know what, Your Honor, let's just move on, okay?
What does this mean?
But I don't see how it's possible. Ah, I know. He must have heard the lyrics when the police were doing their questioning. Yes.
Not possible. The subject of the lyrics was not brought up in police questioning. I read the full report myself. So, the lyrics weren't in the newspaper and the police didn't mention them. The only place you could have heard them was in this courtroom. In English, no less.
The witness will explain herself, himself.
Much, he says.
Yes?
It is true, I read the newspaper. But this is not where I learned of the lyrics. I was mistaken. Now I remember.
You remember?
He says he heard of the lyrics from me.
What?
Is this true, Lamera?
Yes, I'm afraid I have forgotten it myself.
Then it looks like your forehead's been jumping to conclusions again.
It seems so, yes.
No! No! I was onto something, I know it! I can't let this chance slip by.
Time is an issue today. Mr. Justice, are you finished with the cross-examination?
What are you going to do, Apollo?
If I'm gonna keep on cross-examining, I better have an angle of attack. Maybe diagonal. Maybe I'll say, look over there, and then I'll sneak up behind him and I'll tickle him. Yeah. Or else. My bracelet's still reacting. Your Honor! Please allow me to continue.
If you must, you must. Very well, witness.
I understand. It was I who explained that the crime followed the song.
Hold it! Exactly how much did you explain to Machi?
This is a question for me, yes?
This interpretation thing is getting old fast.
I told him that Mr. Latouche had been killed and why he was a suspect. And I told him the crimes of that day followed my song.
Did you mention any particular words of the song relating to the case, such as heart?
Yes, of course I explained this. He was quite surprised. Yay! I knew he was innocent!
I believe he is too, Trucy, I do. Oh, yep. Alright, say, let's get on back to... Because the lyrics are in English, he does not fully understand them. Yep, it was I who explained the crowd and followed the song. We're just going to do a quick savey-wavy, which, as you all know, is very different from a regular save. It's a savey-wavy, which makes it wavier. Alright, let's proceed. You going to point me right to it this time, huh? I mean, it's going to be Lamara this time, right? Because she's the one speaking. So, let's see what you got for us. No, nothing there. Let's hear that again. If it takes too long, I will cut to where I need to be. So I can explain the lyrics. Follow the song. Oh, is that it? Alright, I'm guessing that's it.
Gotcha!
Lamarar, I'm currently cross-examining Machi. Why should you be uncertain?
Me? Uncertain?
Yes, you swallowed the very moment you told the court. It was I who explained.
I see there is little point in trying to hide anything from you.
Lamarar, are you indeed protecting someone?
That is not a question with a simple answer. To tell the truth, I do not believe it myself.
Then allow me to answer for you. Lamarar, you're protecting... I mean... who else?
Take that!
Lamarar, you are protecting Machi. That's why you lied and told us that you had explained how the crime had followed the song. I don't fault you for trying to help, but this is not the way. Machi, I believe you didn't do it, really. I trust you. But you've lied to us twice, and now you have Lamarar lying on your behalf. If this is going to work, you have to trust me too. Your two lies cover a simple truth. You understand English. You have to!
Your Honor, they keep doing this. I mean, is no one else observing this, you know? I feel like I'm the only one who's really bothered by this, because it's like, I don't ever see this in any other courtroom trial, you know? It's a weird guy with spiky hair and his bracelets suddenly getting people to freeze inexplicably after yelling very loudly. It's like, what is going on, you know? But, you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. You know what? I'm going to freeze now. Ah! Did you enjoy that, everyone? On with it, Judge!
Witness? Is this true? Do you understand English?
Yes, a little. Only.
What?
First you could see, now you can talk. But you did not know about this, Lamois?
No, I did not.
I did not! Wait, what's the I can't even do the code. No, I did not! Can't even do it. I tried watching The Room. I could not get through it. Like, it was half an hour of it, which is just really boring sex. And like, I could just watch straight porn if I wanted boring sex. You know what I mean? Like, oh goodness.
It is quite a surprise.
How many secrets is this witness hiding?
Last. This is last.
Machi, could you tell us what really happened?
No shooting. I did no shooting.
So you weren't in the dressing room when I heard those two gunshots, correct? Apparently, the answer to that question isn't simple either.
I was in dressing room. Behind desk. Manager, he on the floor.
Which would be after the shooting, right?
Then there is a voice. Voice of voices? Was it you and Emma, Apollo?
So when Machi went into the dressing room, Mr. Latouche had already been shot. And then we came to the door.
My panel, high up, I take off. Run away, run away.
So it was you who escaped through that air vent.
As the prosecution has upheld all along, no less. The defendant has admitted to being at the scene. Might we take this as a confession?
Objection! No! He's clearly denied that he did it!
I know shooting. Manager on the floor, already on the floor.
Objection! The victim had already been shot, you say? I find that hard to believe. The defendant understood his own lyrics. He was at the scene of the crime. This can only mean one thing. He is the shooter!
Does the defendant have anything to say to this?
He's climbed up, Apollo!
Then let's ask Mr. Justice. Will you require any further testimony from the witness?
Is that it? Is there nothing else I can get him to testify about? Wait, no, of course there is!
What is this cocoon anyway? The cocoon, the silk, is a potent cure. A cure? Well, Machi, are you a smuggler? He won't tell me.
That cocoon has to have something to do with this! Machi, please, tell us the truth for your own sake!
No, not must speak, not to any of you.
So much your precious trust there, foreheads. Hey, you were the one who didn't believe him! Regardless, this brings us to an impasse.
It does seem like the defendant and the defense are at odds. I doubt we are likely to learn anything more of value should this continue. I see no other course but to declare a 5-minute recess. The defense will work things out with the defendant so that we might proceed.
July 10th, 11:23 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2.
Apollo Eustace.
That's justice. Better learn how to say it if you want to get some.
Believe I no shooting.
Machi claims Mr. Latus was already down on the ground when he entered the room.
It was a trap and he walked right into it. Suddenly, I hear a revolver. Very close. Then I hear a voice.
You heard gunshots?
Yes, it's true. I hear the revolver, but only sound.
Wait, you're saying you went into the dressing room and found Mr. Latus already dead, and then you heard shots? If that's true...
So, you were at the scene of the crime when you heard those shots?
And you escaped through the air vent?
I know. Huh? What do you know? I know if I'm opening the vent, I can leave stage and backstage.
So the vents went to both the stage and the backstage area. Is that what he means?
Hey, he's right! Look, Apollo!
Huh? Yeah. But how do you know it was connected like that?
Wait, I bet his father was the architect that designed the hall or something! I hear this from a magician.
Magician?
Don't look at me!
A magician, huh?
Well, at least we're clear on one thing. Machi didn't shoot Mr. Latus.
Yeah, but what does that leave us with? We're supposed to say he went into the room to find the body, and then he heard the shots? That one's gonna go over well in court. Not. Classic not joke. Teresa, did you find that funny?
Yeah! Not. Ha!
Oh, Tracy. Oh, the real trick, the real magic trick was hurting me. I don't know.
Apollo, you're his defense! You're supposed to believe whatever he says! Even lies! That's what Daddy always told me.
I'll just pretend you misheard him. Every time. So, what do we do?
You're sure you won't testify, Machi? I'm not talking. No. Well, it was worth a shot.
That cocoon.
I can't go home. Can't go home? I can't go home to Virginia. I do not want to go home. The penalty for taking a cocoon from Virginia is death.
That's right. It's punishable by death. Of course. He's scared. Oh well. I guess we'll just have to try a different approach.
That's the spirit, Apollo. So, what's your plan?
If Machi won't testify about it, we'll have to get someone else to testify.
Someone else?
I think we're out of time. Let's get back in there.
Right!
July 10th, 11:28 a.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 3.
Court is now back in session. Mr. Justice, have you sorted things out with the defendant?
Yes, Your Honor. We had a good talk.
Very well. So, will he testify?
Your Honor, the defendant will not testify.
What?
Shame. I thought this was your big chance to turn this case around. Some kind of turn around, you know? Maybe that's a good word. Maybe we could name like every case turn around, you know? Or maybe not. Maybe like turn about, you know? You get it, guys. You get it. Because Phoenix Light, you know, in all the cases is turn about. You see, it's very funny. It's very funny.
Actually, it is. Just moving on from that. The defense would like to approach this case from a different angle, Your Honor.
A different angle?
If Machi won't testify, then I know who will. I would like to cross-examine the witness in this case. Lamarar!
Lamarar!
Objection!
What you up to now? I thought we determined yesterday that Lamar's testimony was insubstantial. There's nothing you can...
Lamarar was taken to the hospital yesterday with injuries.
What happened?
She was assaulted, Your Honor.
Assaulted?
Someone wanted Lamarar dead. Thankfully, she was able to save herself.
What? I've heard no such reports.
Prosecutor Gavin. Why would anyone be out to kill Lamarar? Can you think of a reason?
Well...
Think of how she's known in our country. A singer from overseas who doesn't speak English, yes? Yet someone tried to keep her mouth shut. Who could that have been?
You don't think?
I do! It was the same person who shot Mr. Latouche! The killer was afraid of her, afraid of what she might say. The defense believes that something was hidden in her testimony yesterday. Something that the killer doesn't want getting out.
So, am I to understand that this is what you're saying? Namely, that there is a nugget of truth in Lamar's testimony. A nugget we have yet to uncover?
Exactly.
If Lamarar was attacked, this has serious implications. Very well. There were some vague points in her testimony yesterday's trial. Perhaps we did not inquire as deeply as we might have into some. The court will hear Lamarar's testimony once more.
Quick water break, y'all. Quick water break. Oh, excuse me. Oh, need to eat something after this.
Have y'all eaten? Have y'all got your water? Remember to hydrate and eat your food, everyone. Lamar, I must apologize. I must ask you to stand again and speak.
You need not apologize. I know that Machi is innocent, and I will do all that I can until the court realizes this.
Let's review your testimony from yesterday. You told us you heard 2 gunshots and the shooter's voice through a window. And that the voice belonged to Darian Crescend, yes?
That is correct.
At which point I proved that she could not be correct. She couldn't have heard any of those things. The small window at the scene was closed and was found to be quite soundproof.
You have nothing to say to that, Mr. Justice.
I don't know exactly what yet, but I do know there's something there.
There is, it seems, much you don't know.
And yet it is my duty to hear him out. Perhaps the witness would be so kind as to testify once more to the court.
Of course, Your Honor.
Ooh, what's going on?
I was on my way back from the stage to the backstage exit. That's when I heard them, Mr. Latouche and the detective. I heard the faint sound of a gunshot and then stopped. Then I heard another gunshot. There was the smell of gunpowder. I knew I must tell someone, but I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window.
Let's just check the call record for a second. Okay.
Pretty much the same as yesterday's testimony.
I am sorry. I am not used to speaking much in this language. Perhaps my descriptions are lacking in some way. Yet, everything I have said here is the truth.
Then it is my distinct displeasure to say this. What you have said to have happened is impossible.
Do I have to repeat myself? Lamarar was attacked because of this testimony. What, Trucy?
Apollo, for a moment there, you were pretty cool.
Maybe I do better when I don't try to think ahead.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Perhaps you can coolly cross-examine the witness.
Yeah, Polly, you gotta be cool for once. Let's go.
Hold it!
Is something wrong?
I know I said hold it, but she's saying the same thing she said before.
Mr. Justice?
Sorry, it's nothing. Please continue with your testimony.
Now I know what they mean about the reckless youth these days.
The one in red over there is a shining example, Your Honor.
You're the last person you should be pointing fingers, Mr. Rockstar.
I don't know if we're gonna get much from pressing everything, but I want to get all the dialogue, so we'll give it a go.
Darian Crescend.
I did not know his name at the time. But yes, it was him, the one who took the stand yesterday.
How many times do I need to remind you that is impossible? There's no way you could have heard him.
Because the window at the scene was closed? Is that why?
Of course.
Apollo, if we keep asking the same questions as yesterday, we won't get anywhere.
She's right. Maybe there's a different angle I can try.
Let's go over there talking about.
Oh, excuse me. Lamar, do you by any chance remember what they were saying to each other? If so, please tell us.
I have given it much reflection, but
I was afraid of this. She doesn't remember.
I only heard one phrase clearly.
The whole phrase? You remember something that was said? Why didn't you say anything yesterday?
Now my memory is clear. I was afraid to speak. You see, I do not understand what was said.
This could be it. The clue I've been waiting for. What did he say?
It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Lettuce.
The shooter, then. Darian Crescend.
Well, what did he say?
It's over. Press the switch. Now.
Switch? And the shooter said this to the victim, Mr. Lettuce?
I thought it quite strange myself afterward.
It is a mystery. What could it possibly mean? Mr. Justice, care to shed some light on this?
Sure, I'd be delighted. It's very, very vital. Maybe we could add that to the testimony. Oh, God. I'm choking on Apollo's uncertainty.
Maybe, Apollo?
Oh. Okay. Alright, now the quick savey wavy, which again, as we all know, it's very different from a regular save. It's wavier. Come on, guys. Come on.
Hold it! And it was Detective Darian Crescend's voice.
Yes, I am sure of it.
It's over. Press the switch. Why would he say that to Mr. Lettuce?
Apollo! The murder weapon, the revolver was Mr. Lettuce's, right?
Yeah. What of it?
Well, maybe when he said press the switch, he really meant to say pull the trigger. Because his English isn't so good.
Darian Crescend is a native speaker.
Oh, right. Sorry, I kind of forgot who was what.
Press the switch. That's not something a killer usually says to their victim, is it?
Was there no one else in the room?
I do not know. All I heard was Mr. Lettuce and the detective.
Okay. We're probably gonna have to object here, aren't we? Press the switch. What do we think the switch is? Probably this.
Objection! Press the switch. There's only one key that can unlock the mystery of those words.
Oh? Yet there was nothing at the scene that could be called a switch, save the lights.
True, there wasn't a switch at the scene. But it just so happens, I have a switch right here.
That certainly does look like a switch, doesn't it?
The problem is, this was found not at the scene of the crime, but on the stage.
The stage?
Where the concert was held, yes. This was found hidden there.
On the stage?
Are you claiming that the voice Lamar heard was of someone commanding another to press this switch?
It's a possibility.
Oh, So, forehead, I'd call that an impossibility.
Why?
It's hardly necessary for me to remind the court of the layout of the courtroom forum, of the concert forum. Excuse me. The stage is quite far from Lamour's dressing room. Not to mention that the Raveners were in the middle of a concert on said stage. They aren't known for being a quiet band. You could shout all you wanted and not be heard.
The detective's voice was loud, but certainly not a shout.
So to have forehead's cries of possibility fallen far short of being heard.
Sorry, but he wouldn't have needed to shout.
Excuse me?
You heard what I said. Or do you need me to shout it out for you? It would have been quite simple to be heard on the stage from that dressing room. Oh wait, you like evidence, don't you? How about this? Using this, it would be easy to get a message to someone on the stage from the dressing room.
What? Shit. This one.
Prosecutor Gavin, perhaps you're familiar with this. Why, that's...
What is it? Is that some kind of newfangled phone they invented while I wasn't looking?
This is a type of transmitter, a communications device.
Communications? Device?
From what I've heard that night, everyone on stage is wearing one of these. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Gavin?
Yes, actually. They're for talking between band members. We all had one on.
So you admit that if you were wearing one of these, talking from the backstage to the stage would be simple!
Objection!
True, but wait! Those sends out an electronic signal. To avoid interference with the audio systems, their range is quite limited.
Remember I said it was about 30 feet, right?
Look at this cross-section diagram of the concert forum! Exactly. The walk from the stage to the backstage seems far, but the direct distance is less than 30 feet! That can't be!
So when Lamar heard the shooter's voice, he could have been talking to someone on stage! Objection!
Ha! You're claiming this is the switch in question? Why did it have to be on the stage at that time? It could be placed in your pocket and carried anywhere.
Someone could have hid it on the stage after the fact!
Hey, he's got a point. How do we know where it was when he heard the voice? When the shooter said press the switch?
Well, I guess we don't.
An unfortunate situation. I'm afraid that until we know where the switch was, there's little point in debating it.
I'm sure this was the way to go with this!
What is this switch anyway? We don't even know that basic fact.
Wait a second. I do know what this switch is. And if you follow that train of logic to its incredible conclusion, it ends up in proof that completely changes this case!
What's up, Apollo? Apollo?
We know about this switch, right? We know what it is.
Yeah?
Well, think of when it was used that day. Think of what happened.
Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no further information to share concerning this switch...
Your Honor!
Oh yes, Mr. Justice.
I've been remiss in not telling the court this before. I know what this switch is.
Well, it seems the defense is set upon linking this switch to the case. Let's see your evidence of this link. What evidence do you have to explain what this switch is?
What evidence indeed? Probably this.
Prosecutor Gavin, you remember this? That is that!
That what? Is it another one of those newfangled phones?
This is an igniter. What phone looks like this?
Igniter? You mean it's like a lighter?
Yes, actually. You aren't saying the switch is a remote? I am. This is a remote trigger for an igniter. What? Look, I'll show you.
Yo, Mr. Justice! You will cease and desist from burning down this courtroom. That is until Ace Attorney 5.
Sorry, that was a bit more fire than I expected.
If my whiskers had caught on fire.
Prosecutor Gavin, let me repeat myself. This switch is a remote igniter trigger. Doesn't that suggest something to you? Sure. Talking about what happened to me, aren't you?
Aha!
Exactly. That night at the concert, there was one unusual burst of flame. When your guitar caught fire in the middle of your performance!
Wasn't that part of the stage show, though?
Prosecutor Gavin was entirely unaware such a thing had been planned. And the guitar that burned was a valuable keepsake.
That's right! He got it in Bordier from Lamorar! He said the sound was amazing! Before it burned, of course. Now it just kind of smokes.
The better the guitar, the brighter the burn. Air foreheads.
Yeah, no, fuck. I mean, I have a forehead, Clavier. You've never expressly referred to me as Mr. Forehead or Judge Forehead. I find that ridiculous, and I've decided to say it now. It wasn't a mistake, shush. Anyway, continue, Mr. Justice.
Yes?
Don't tell me you're trying to tie these two things together. Those being the shooter's voice heard by Lamour, and the guitar suddenly catching on fire.
I am. It's really simple when you think about it. Mr. Latouche and the shooter were at the crime scene. The shooter was wearing a headset. He ordered someone on stage to press the switch. The switch was pressed, and the guitar caught fire.
Well, that does seem to make sense. Though something about it is bugging me. Can't quite put my finger on it.
Really? Seems pretty simple to me.
Objection!
Air foreheads, don't destroy what little respect I have for you. I was expecting something a little more sensible. I guess I was wrong.
What's this all about, Prosecutor Gavin?
This simple story simply makes no sense. Saying that night my guitar caught fire, yes. The cause may have been this indeed. However, the guitar caught fire during the second set.
Heck, that's right, of course! The guitar caught fire during Lamorar's song!
Indeed, yet the shooting happened during the third set. The two are utterly unrelated.
Yes, that must have been what was bugging me. The whole premise for this is faulty.
See? This story makes no sense.
Objection!
Are you sure about that?
What exactly do you mean, Mr. Justice?
Maybe it's not the premise for my explanation of the switch that's at fault. Maybe it's our premise for the entire case so far.
What premise is this, specifically?
I'm glad you asked. I'm saying that maybe the killing didn't take place in the third act!
Objection!
What's this? But Detective Emma Skyhood shot and found the body. All of this happened in the third act.
Objection!
Gunshots rang out. And according to his testimony, Machi was in that dressing room at the time.
Where are you going with this, Mr. Justice?
Stay with me, Your Honor! He also told us this in his testimony. Namely, that the victim had already been shot! We all heard gunshots, but no one saw the shooting! This is insane! Just before the shooting took place, the shooter was heard on his headset, telling someone to press the switch. The next moment, Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flame. We know that a remote-triggered igniter was inside the guitar. From all these facts, we can draw only one conclusion. The crime scene did not take place during the third act, but during the ballet performance, the second act! What?
Order! But that goes against the evidence.
What does, Your Honor?
This crime was carried out according to the lyrics of that song, yes?
Hey, he's right! Look! The bullet is supposed to come after the fire!
You're thinking about it the wrong way.
Huh?
Look, Why would the shooter craft the events of the day to follow the lyrics anyway? It's an awful lot of trouble to go through, with little merit for the person doing it.
Well, I'm sure whoever it was had some reason.
Yes, they did. A reason that made it advantageous to follow the lyrics. Sure, saying the order was reversed on purpose.
Reversed, Prosecutor Gavin?
If the criminal follows the lyrics strictly, then yes. The shooting would have had to come after the guitar burst into flame. Yet our forehead has raised another possibility. He's claiming that the bullet came not after, but just before the fire. Couldn't have put it better myself. We were only meant to think that the shooting came after the guitar burst into flame. That was the criminal's objective! The crime followed the lyrics to a point, but that was a ruse! Why else would the killer risk discovery by moving the body? That was the final touch to make us think he'd follow the lyrics the whole way!
Order, order, order! That would explain this most unusual situation.
It does! The killer changed the order of events to create himself an alibi! In other words, the killer was someone who had an alibi for the third set, but not the second!
Objection!
I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but sadly it has. Let me tell you why your little fairy tale makes no sense at all. Oh, it sounds good, so I give you that. Giving us a reason why the killer boss is following the lyrics to my song. But I question your logic! It's flawed from the very beginning. Flawed? Yes, a contradiction there, forehead. One I've pointed out several times, no less. At the time of the crime, the small window at the scene was closed. How could Lamour have heard a voice through it? Oh, I know that you would like to divert our attention from this critical fact, but you're basing your entire line of reasoning on a false premise. Right. Lamour's testimony is my entire case. That voice she heard, the shooter's voice.
What if she couldn't hear it, Apollo?
Look, what do we have? A man saying, press the switch! And near the scene of the crime, we have a switch, which acts as a remote trigger for an igniter. And last but not least, Prosecutor Gavin's flaming guitar. It can't all be coincidence. But how do I make it work? I see a more direct line of questioning is required. When the crime scene was investigated immediately after the crime, that window was closed. Can you tell us how Lamour heard the voice?
A key point to be sure. Mr. Justice, can you explain this to the court?
Okay, Justice, you've got one thing to prove and one thing only. Lamour heard a voice, and she heard it during the second set. Think, how was Lamour able to hear the voice?
What do we think, y'all? She has divine hearing? Probably not.
We know the window was closed. We know she doesn't have divine hearing, so... When we investigated the scene, the window was closed. The shooter had no reason to close it had it been open either. Meaning, it was impossible to hear the voice through that window. It's good to hear you making sense again. For a moment, I was afraid you might be a Boginian too. As I was saying, Lamour could not hear the voice through that window. So there can be only one explanation. She heard the voice from another location entirely!
What's this?
You do amuse me so. Until I thought you were good sense and were back on speaking terms. Now I'm afraid you and good sense speak two entirely different languages. Shall I interpret for you, forehead? Lamour clearly stated she heard the voice through that small window. And there's only one small window at the scene. Are you sure? Huh? Think about it. Isn't there another small window at the scene?
There is?
Oh, I know that look. He wants us to ask him. Oh, very well. You claim Lamour heard the voice from another location. Mr. Justice, show us where this location was.
Lamour heard the voice from here!
Where do we think, y'all? Where is the voice? We don't know, but we might know.
Take that!
This is where Lamora heard that voice from.
Well, that's no small window. That's the air vent.
What did she tell us? She said she's a Boginian, unfamiliar with our language. It's not a stretch to imagine she called this air vent a small window. Oh God. Okay, 1 sec. Woo. A lot of raspy voices, you know. Now you've done it. You've gone beyond ridiculous and into ludicrous. So Lamora was up in the ventilation system listening to this man's voice. That's the only logical explanation. Yes. Logical? I do not think this word means what you think it means, forehead. Okay, what about it isn't logical? Ha! It hardly merits saying. Why would Lamora be in the ventilation system? Hiding like a rat. No offense intended to her, of course. The explanation for that is simple, Prosecutor Gavin. Isn't it, Lamora?
I kind of forgot I'd just been standing here the entire time. No one had addressed me. It's been like 10 minutes. Oh, I'm included now. Yeah!
You have been listening to our discussion here, yes?
Yes. I admit it's had me quite confused since yesterday. Yes, the small window was closed. But why should that mean I could not hear through it? I feared our prosecutor might himself need an interpreter.
Ugh! The problem here... Oh shit, I'm actually Apollo Justice, so I sound quite a lot like Clavier when I do this, so... But the problem here is words. Lamora, this small window through which you heard the voice. Was it up high on the ceiling of the room? Not low on a wall?
Yes, it was up on the ceiling.
What?!
Order, order! I will have order! Witness, you will clarify that statement to the court. Are you in fact saying that you were up above the ceiling of the room? And that's where you heard the moment of the crime?
Yes, in fact, I was. I am sorry. I never imagined that it would become such an important point.
Yes, well, why the heck were you up there?
I believe it's time for another testimony.
I'm not sure I can't.
May I remind you this is a murder trial? We will hear your testimony. Tell us why you witnessed this crime from above the ceiling of that room. Please.
Well, looks like I'm on the right track. Alright, y'all, we're gonna leave it there for today. Quite the bombastic episode, eh, folks? I love when I get to yell. I love these, like, back and forth between Clav and Apollo. It's just so fun. Like, I love the energy. I love yelling. Oh, it's great. I hope you guys enjoyed it today. Yeah, stay hydrated, look after yourselves, and remember to get that play in, okay? So like, comment, share, subscribe, do all those good things. Stay gay, stay hydrated, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.